a story that needs to be said, and it needs to be learned, because people need to think the things you say can really, really hurt people. There was a girl who felt like she wasn't worth her life she was given, because she got told it over and over and over, and one day she gave in, and she started to believe all of the nasty things people told her. She didn't go to anyone. She didn't tell them. She felt like she didn't need any help. She could do it all on her own. But one day, you gotta learn, you do need the help. She was being bullied one day. She was walking home, and a group of people walked up to her and called her fat, stupid, a slut, just nasty names that can really put someone down, and people believed them after a while, and that's what was starting to happen to her. One thing she got told was that her mother probably falls asleep every night wishing she never had her, and that she would want to kill herself because she had that miserable monster of a child, and she didn't want to get to know her because she felt like her daughter was one step over the edge. That thing got to her so bad that she crashed down on the floor crying. There were tears running down her face, and she was panting for breath. She had a heartache from what they said. She never thought a word could hurt her so bad. And this wasn't just any word. This was a very violent comment to make to someone that could kill someone on the inside. And that's what was starting to happen to her. She picked herself off the ground and walked home, hugging herself, trying to tell herself, just breathe, I can get through it. Even she was lying to herself. She knew lying to herself that one day she'd actually believe it. She locked herself in her room for days and grabbed the razor blade that hid behind a picture of her and her sister. She looked very closely at what she used to look like just 1 year ago. She looked so happy. She saw this light in her eyes that she doesn't see anymore. Her sister looked happy. But then, lately, she's been feeling like, after that comment, that she's not even worth it. That if she takes this razor blade and drives it against her skin, that it will take back the comments, that she doesn't have to, that she won't hurt anyone else other than herself. She never wanted to hurt anyone. She'd rather do it to herself than see other people go through the pain she has been going through for months. She looked at her sister's face in that picture and said, I'm going to do what's right for both of us. For Mom, for Dad, for Grandma, Grandpa, for anyone she had in her life. That she's going to make them happy. That when she's gone, that her mother won't want to kill herself. That she won't leave you or your brother or your other sister or your other brother or anyone, because she knew her mother's life was more fragile than herself. Her mother gave her this life. She gave her so much. But now, she's going to give her something back. A happiness, a joy. She grabbed that razor blade and she slammed it on her skin, and it tore right open. She was in such a bad atmosphere that she didn't even feel the pain anymore. She went on Facebook and she wrote, I'm sorry. I need to do what's right for everyone and leave this world. I need to help everyone find their joy. And with me here, I'm just holding you back. I'm sorry I had to do this, but it's the only thing that is right. She logged off Facebook, and her sister was on Facebook at the time. She saw it. She didn't believe it because she knew her sister. She can say stuff, but she won't go through with it because she knows her sister is too strong to believe the words she writes on Facebook. It was one night went by, and in the morning, her sister saw "goodbye" on her sister's Facebook page. She ran outside, looking for her sister, calling her name. She didn't see anything. She went to the cemetery where she usually is. She didn't even see it. All she saw was her sister's old sweater. She looked in that sweater, looked to see if she could find anything. She saw her sister's cell phone, and she saw a razor blade full of blood. But she knew that she must call her mother, see if her mother knew. She called her mother, asked if she knew where her sister was. Her mother said she went for a walk, she needed some air. I don't want to bug her because I want her to come to me. I want her to know that I will give her the time she needs until she comes to me. She told her mother what she saw on Facebook. Her mother was too breathless to even speak. She told her work she needed to do a family matter. She drove straight home, went into her sister's room. She found that there was a box missing. So she went to the park. She saw her sister sitting on the bench, grabbing what looked like in a box. Her sister hid behind a tree. She saw a bunch of razor blades. She saw a box of pills. And she saw a picture. A picture with a quote that says, "I am strong enough to get past this." She grabbed a permanent marker and wrote, "I am not strong enough. I have been through too much, and I will do what's right for everyone." And then she tore it to pieces and threw it in the garbage. Her sister came crashing over to her, calling her name. "Please, please don't do this. Please, I need you. Please." Her sister looked back, saw her running towards her. Her sister came and squeezed her tight. "Please, you can't do this. Let's walk. Go home, and I'll help you through it." She started walking home, and a group of girls grabbed her and her sister, threw her sister into the wall. One of them, the taller one, held on to her. And then the two other girls held on to her sister, saying that she wasn't worth it, that she should go through with death, because all everyone wants is happiness, but with her in this world, no one will be happy. They let her sister go, and they went home. So her sister went to make her a nice, warm, hot bath, but she found Erica was missing. She wasn't there. She screamed, "Erica, Erica, please." She ran outside to the park, saw everything was missing, and saw a note. "I love you. I love you so much. But I need to do what's right." She ran to the forest and saw her sister laying on the ground. Her wrists were slit. They were bleeding so bad she could see the bones. She called her mother, told her she needs to get to the forest, right in the middle. Her mother was too speechless to even talk. She called an ambulance. The ambulance came and got her. But she saw her sister. She was taking even less breath than usual. Like she wasn't even ready to hold on anymore. That she was actually going to go through with it. Her sister said she would do it before, but she never believed it. She knew her sister was too strong to believe in suicide, because bullies aren't worth it. But one day, she never would have saw it that her sister actually would go through with it. Her mother drove her and her sister to the hospital. Her sister was in the emergency room and they weren't allowed in. Her mother and sister sat in the waiting room, but she knew Erica was gone. She looked peaceful, but they weren't. A doctor came out, looked her mother in the eye and said, "I'm sorry, I have to say this, but she's gone. We can't save her, we tried, but she's gone." But her sister remembered. The box was missing of pills. She saw it empty in the forest. So she knew her sister took those pills before she slit her wrist. So she knew she went through it peacefully without having to actually feel the pain that she caused herself. Her mother crashed to the floor, tears in her eyes. She couldn't even speak, panting for breath. She couldn't breathe, nothing. She lost her daughter, her baby girl, the joy of her life. Without her daughter, she doesn't know if she can get through it. She doesn't know how much more she could have took until that doctor said she was gone. Her whole life broke. Now she knows she has to take care of her other daughter. She can't go through this pain anymore. But at the moment, all she could think of, she lost her baby girl. 1 month went by and her mother still sat by the window, hasn't returned to work, looking out the window in the winter, watching the snow fall, wishing her daughter was here, sitting beside her, and she was hugging her. No one's went into her room. It stays the same. She had a best friend who said, "If you go, I go." And after being bullied for 2 months, she left. She went through with that promise. Now her parents are facing the pain that her mother did. Guys, you have to be serious about this. Suicide is not the answer. I'm sorry, I know people think it is. Do you want to see your mother go through that pain, your sister? You think it's right at the time. Your mind's not hooking onto the piece that if I do it, I'll lose my family. You're just thinking it'll make everyone happy. Did this mother and daughter feel happy? They were heartbroken. Bullies are looking for a way to put you down. People say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. They're wrong. They do. You have to think. These bullies out there want to see an effect on you, but you can't show it. You cannot, or you'll be facing this pain. Please, don't cause your family this pain. You may be peaceful, but they never will be. Because mother never left the house. She stopped answering the phone. She would lock herself in her room. She would hug her daughter every night and lay in bed with her, knowing if she held on to her daughter, she watched carefully at her emotions, she would never have to go through another heartbreak again. Your heartbreak is just an emotion. Everyone can get through it. You can get through this pain that people cause you, but you can't do suicide. If you do that, they win. You may say, then they win? Oh well. It's not oh well. Taking your life is horribly. No one wants to see that. No one, and I mean it. Please share if you're against bullying or like